Captain Midnight.
There's a time when you snuck into the room to see what the...
I sneaked into the room. Snuck isn't a word, Conan, and you went to Harvard and you should know that.
There's always times in talk show careers as long as Conan O'Brien's where things get a little awkward. And when you're as good as he is, you can actually elevate the segments by leaning into those moments and turning them into something funny and memorable.
I keep a dictionary down here and I just found it. Just want to look at... Oh, what the hell? Look right here. Snuck, past and past part of sneak.
But there are those rare times where even someone as skilled as Conan cannot save an interview, where the guest, for one reason or another, just takes things so off the rails that there's no saving it. I find these situations endlessly fascinating. And I have two here that I think rise to the absolute cream of the crop in this weird subgenre of failed interviews. One of them is pretty well known, the other maybe less so. So that's what I wanted to dig into this week. Before I do though, I should set some expectations because man, the video quality on these is low, especially the second one. So if you're up for that, stick around. And if you want to help out the channel going into 2026 here, Happy New Year's by the way, you could always subscribe or share this with a friend who loves Conan too. Alright, let's get to the first one. In 1996, director Abel Ferrara went on Late Night to talk to Conan, who was then 3 years into his run. He's considered more of a cult director, but the early to mid-90s were probably his peak critically and commercially, establishing himself as a low-budget crime drama master with movies like King of New York and The Great Bad Lieutenant. That's the first Bad Lieutenant with Harvey Keitel, not the sequel with the infamous Nicolas Cage performance, Port Called New Orleans, in case you were wondering. Anyway, Abel was clearly under the influence of something here, and not at all prepared to do the show.
I don't know who I'm talking to right now.
I know I'm talking.
I wanted to ask you about the...
Conan.
There you go. All right.
Dennis.
Cool.
All right.
You just passed our sobriety test here. All right.
I know.
In his very mild defense, I guess, he seemed to know that too. On a podcast in 2018, Conan revealed that he tried to get out of Going On altogether, trying to flee, literally running out of the green room at the last minute, and almost getting out of the building entirely before a producer caught up with him and forced him to go on set. So knowing that, this was always destined to be a train wreck. Conan jumps into a question about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's the kind of prompting that's clearly one of his scripted questions, and under better circumstances, he'd probably transition into it more naturally, but here, he just has to charge ahead. And Abel doesn't seem too interested.
You want to drive, maybe change. You hear these chainsaws starting up in the background. It was a pleasant sound.
You thought that was a pleasant sound, a chainsaw?
It was a pleasant sound.
Okay.
At a local drive-in.
All right.
We grew up at a drive-in theater.
Okay. Good deal.
At this point, the tone of the interview was pretty firmly established. So Conan, being a pro, knew he had to acknowledge the elephant in the room here.
We're gonna get those Stallone subtitles in here right away.
Meaning what? What does that mean?
I didn't catch you. You're talking very lowly. Now then you get to your first film. There's your mic right there. I'll just hold it up a little higher.
And Conan tries to fix the microphone so his guest isn't mumbling quite as much. That doesn't really work since, the mic wasn't really the problem here. Conan then tries to get him to talk about working with Madonna, clearly supposed to set up a story they had planned for him to tell. Abel is not that interested. He mumbles about her wanting to beat up Harvey Keitel, but beyond just repeating that, isn't giving Conan much. So Conan tries to move on to talking about Keitel instead.
I want to talk about Harvey Keitel.
How's the baby? Did you say?
I want to talk about Harvey Keitel.
Go ahead. Where is it? I'll kick his ass. Where is it?
You want to kick Harvey Keitel's ass?
I'm ready to beat him up now.
Really? Because we have him backstage, ladies and gentlemen.
Let him loose.
After talking about the nudity in Bad Lieutenant for a bit, Abel seems to get distracted by the flower he has on his lapel.
Now you just worked with, tell us about this guy. You just worked with Dennis.
Flower. What? Dennis Leary. Oh my God. Oh my God. Here. Dennis, would you like to work with me in our next film? I feel like I want to work nude. So we'll start off nude. Work our way into a
Oh yeah, that's the other fun part of this segment. Comedian Dennis Leary, who you may know as the star of the 2000s firefighter show Rescue Me, is sitting there super uncomfortable, like the whole time. At this point, Abel doesn't seem interested in Conan at all, and is just locked into the concept of nudity and finding out where that flower went.
What's he doing? Watch out.
Is it just me? I mean...
It's alive. Yo, Max. There's the king.
You just noticed Max. Yeah, he's been here a little while.
Conan tries to get everything back on track again, asking about a sitcom he heard Abel had been pitching. I won't play the answer here because it goes on a long time and there's a lot of mumbling, but basically the pitch amounts to a 10-minute show that anyone can pay to attend, set in a strip club, which, of course, Conan leans into.
Cheers with a little TNA. I cannot wait for the network promo on that. It's cheers with a little TNA. All right, well, you got
to be live 10 minutes every week and be live so you can get in a cab and come down and be right in there. Be on TV.
Anyone can come down and be on the TV show.
Well, you got to pay admission.
After confirming that Marky Mark, that's Mark Wahlberg, will be at the show for some reason, Abel commits maybe the one cardinal sin of talk shows. And this is probably my favorite part of the segment.
That's 3. Abel Ferrara will be right back.
Yeah, we're gonna...
After Abel gives an outro to himself, Conan again leans into it.
Yeah, that's what it says.
But there's one last flub before they actually cut to commercial, as Conan apparently names the wrong actress in the movie, which Abel is sober enough to correct.
Claudia Schiffer's in that movie. She makes her acting debut. And
that's a new movie. You make mistakes too. It's another thing.
And with that, one of the most notorious segments in late night history ends. One that had zero chance of staying on the rails, if we're being honest. The second one, though, is completely different. Where Abel was a mess from the moment he walked on, this guest managed to turn everyone against her by trying really hard to be a high-energy performer. She was game and clearly wanted to be a great guest, but things did not go as planned. The actress was Kari Wuhrer. Now, I have a soft spot for Wuhrer. She co-starred in the sci-fi show Sliders, which, wins her a lot of points in my book. Plus, she's in the second Beastmaster movie, Through the Portal of Time, which I have seen for some reason.
Most awesome place in the universe.
This carriage, it moves without horsepower.
I told Daddy to get this thing tuned up. He never listens to me.
But in May of 1999, she was on Conan to promote her first and last album, Shiny. She comes out full of energy, hugging everyone, soaking in the applause, screaming in excitement, and Conan innocently mentions the guest who had come out before her, Stephen Wright, a stand-up comedian known for his deadpan jokes and slow, ironic delivery. And then this happens.
I figured it wasn't a difficult act to follow.
No, we have...
Wait, I gotta do the mic thing.
What was that? Yeah.
I meant energy-wise.
Energy-wise.
We talked about this before. He knows that I just can't stand him. Are you retiring?
Excuse me?
No, cutie. I love him. No, really, I do.
Now this probably doesn't need to be said, but generally, it's not a great idea to insult the other guest on a talk show, especially when they're a well-liked comedian that's been on the show before. So already, Conan and the crowd have kind of turned on her, and her awkward hug attempt to turn things around just makes things worse. Conan, of course, acknowledges that right away.
You just won in 6 years most awkward start to an interview, I think.
I'm sorry, but, we had the whole, he was really getting me excited backstage, and it's kind of, we're in a big fight right now, aren't we?
You have like 8 personalities, don't you?
I'm psychotic.
Yeah, you hated him, you wanted him to retire, and he excited you backstage.
No, all right.
And I'm telling you, it only goes downhill from there.
Kidding with the
He's
makeup
like the Michael
woman.
Jordan of comedians.
I was just kidding with the woman there.
And I said, you've been on the show like 500 times. Do they have like a cake for you once a year or something? And I'm not funny, huh?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. All right, so I had this dream about you on the plane.
Okay, you had a dream about me on the plane.
They then transition into talking about a dream she had about Conan, which leads to this.
So I had this dream.
That was so sincere. That was great.
I had this dream, okay, that I was really nervous about doing your show and everything.
Gee, why? It seems to be going well.
And is this Letterman or is this Mr. Conan.
Oh, I'm the little Letterman. Hi-yo!
She says her dream was about how Conan looks like a Pez dispenser. The crowd is really not into this, and Conan tries to help her out by talking about Pez a little bit. Now, at this point, she's just launching into what feels like someone's first attempt at an open mic night, talking about what kind of candy she would be.
You're like, what is that all about? Right? Just idiocy.
But wait, why would you be one of those candies, though?
It's like an idiot candy.
Hey, don't put yourself down. No, don't put yourself down. That's wrong. You'd be a nice candy, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, let's move on.
Conan tries to smooth that over and goes on to ask what she did on Celebrity Jeopardy the week before. And I guess to Kari's credit, she scores her biggest laugh from the crowd of this whole segment.
Let's talk about, you were on Celebrity Jeopardy last week. I didn't see it. How did it go?
Kind of like this.
Really?
And just when it feels like she might be able to win everyone back over with some self-deprecation, she launches into this strange bit where she looks straight into the camera and starts talking about the Brady Bunch. It was an obscure reference to an episode, and Conan and the crowd are pretty baffled. He attempts to help her out, though.
The episode. There's an episode where someone's scared.
Duh, anyway. Yes. That was the joke. He's not a Nick at Night fan, I don't think.
I got a duh for that? Oh, ow, she's biting. Ow. I kind of like that.
Her go-to move seems to be like going in for a hug when things get awkward. Conan makes a quick joke about having a prosthetic leg, and she tries to riff on this again, really poorly.
Of course, your libido made you 6'4". That your prosthetic legs are really good.
Yes. Very good.
I'm gonna be 6'4". I'm gonna be a different species next to me.
At long last, we're finally almost done with the interview. All that's left is to plug her album, and even that gets awkward somehow, when Conan gets Stephen Wright to jump in after being silent for 5 minutes.
When not spoken to.
Is it music, or is it like reading or something?
It's resuscitation.
It's resuscitation?
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna take a break right now and review the tape.
I know this was probably tough to watch, but honestly, I do kind of feel bad for her here. This was like the worst case scenario for a first-time talk show appearance, and even though Conan ends the segment by saying she should come back sometime, she, unsurprisingly, never did. And unlike the first interview, Conan, as far as I can tell, never even acknowledged this one again. If someone can find that, please let me know, because he seems to have buried it completely. The Wuhrer interview is not even available on his YouTube channel. When he was asked about his worst guest interview years later, he named Abel Ferrara without hesitation. Maybe because he was the more high-profile one, and maybe because, unlike him, Ware was at least attempting to be funny. She was just really bad at it, and that, I guess, probably counts for something. Now, at first, this is where I expected to wrap up by saying how at least Conan was able to kind of save these segments, and I guess to an extent that's true. He definitely acts as the voice of the audience here, always acknowledging how the interview is going instead of letting that awkwardness hang in the air, like the host of a morning news show probably would. But honestly, I think he'd even admit that these were true lowlights for the show. If you do interviews for a living, there's going to be some guests who are just so bad at the act of sitting and talking for 5 minutes that even Conan O'Brien just can't bail them out. And these two managed it, breaking through his ability to navigate every conversation with even the most boring celebrity with ease, and steer them into at least very watchable territory. But I also don't think it's a coincidence that both of these interviews are from the 90s. A time where not every celeb had extensive media training, and where things on network TV weren't quite as stringent as they are now. These days on his podcast, he can pick whatever guests he likes. Back then, he'd just have to promote kinda whatever they threw at him. Sometimes that was a great movie like The Funeral, and other times it was a CD from an actress on a sci-fi show. That's obviously not preferable overall, but at least it left us with some truly strange television. So you may have noticed that Lindsay Ellis doesn't post on here much anymore, but I'm happy to say that she's really been thriving over on Nebula, where she's releasing some of her best, most in-depth work completely free from the chaos of the YouTube algorithm. Her newest exclusive, Bluey Adults, is a perfect example. This one digs into one of the most unexpected pop culture stories out there. How a wholesome Australian cartoon for preschoolers became a full-on obsession among adults online. I've said it before, but I didn't go in knowing much about Bluey, beyond how massive it was, and by the end, I totally got why people were so hooked. All told from the perspective of someone who has clearly thought a lot about what makes good kids TV tick. You can watch Bluey Adults totally free right now, because Nebula's offering a free trial. That means you can check out her latest video, my videos ad-free, and exclusive projects from tons of other creators without paying a cent. And if you decide to stick around, memberships are half off, just $30 for a full year, or about $2.50 a month. Just go to go.nebula.tv/captainmidnight or scan the QR code on screen.
Here's a special tip for the fellas and girls who have not already joined Captain Midnight's new 1940 Flight Patrol. You'd better hurry up and join at once, because there's a big adventure ahead. The thing to do now is to get started, because we're going to have not only barrels of fun, but loads of free gifts and prizes too.